All right, everyone. Thank you all so very much for joining us yet again. Today we are covering Bravo's The Queens of R&B, SWV and XSCAPE. This is episode 4, titled Top Billing. We'll be recapping the episode, but specifically we'll be discussing number 1, Tosha and Candy's mess, Tameka and Tosha, and XSCAPE and Tosha. If you're watching live or even later, post your comments, and I promise you we'll discuss it.
Yes.
All right.
Yeah, talk that stuff. Can you believe that it's only 2 more episodes? Like, it's episode 4, and it just seems like the mess just keeps on coming. And
it's not enough.
I mean, oh my gosh, this show continues to give, and Candy has alluded to we ain't even seen nothing yet. So we'll see. But the show kind of starts off as they normally do with the, going around with the different people working out or with their families and whatnot. But it starts with Taj and Coco. They're working out, and Taj talks about how good their relationship has gotten over the years because Coco used to be really catty, and she was the lead, and everybody did what she said. If she said don't talk to Taj, nobody would talk to Taj. And so I can believe that.
And I was about to say, I remember the rumors from back in the 90s. You know what I'm saying? Like, I just remember those rumors, and like everyone was like, "Are they coming back with another one? Are they coming back with another one?" Because there was just so much drama going on, and I like we all knew about it, but no one knew exactly why.
Right?
Do you know why?
I think they were just young, and that's all I could think of. And I think Coco probably did have an ego. And I think she said on song that she felt some kind of way about pressure of her being basically the lead of the group, and nothing can go on without her. And so where the other team, she probably took that weight, but then it was also a little ego. And then she also now has said she has some mental health issues. So it could have been a whole mixture of all of that. So
yeah, she definitely says she struggles with depression.
So there could have been all of that going on in the 90s, and it was, I mean, people weren't really talking about it then or even diagnosing it. So, but in any case, they start talking about the meeting the day before, and should they be co-headline? What should they do? And it makes sense. And they talk about how, like, this is just like they work with so many female groups, and put your egos aside. This could be a huge thing for the 90s groups to get together and all of that. And, Coco did do a little shade talking about XSCAPE with 7 million records. But I mean, I agree. I mean, money aside, I mean, Candy made some good points, but I mean, for this one show, y'all can put egos aside and just co-headline. So.
Right.
So then they go to Lily and her manager. He comes over and, gets him a nice cold drink in those red Solo cups because she ain't washing no dishes. I was like, I know that's right, girl. Okay.
But wait a minute. I just got to say this. That white man walked up, and I was like, who is this? Who is this?
You didn't notice him from the other episopes?
It's something about that cap. He put that cap on, and
that's what people were saying. It was something about that cap that did something to him because
other people were saying the same
thing. Yes. They was like, that manager is fine. Yeah. So I was like, okay. But yeah, it must have been something about the cap. And so she, gives him his drink, and they start talking about her erotica book. Now, I don't know what all we could say, as far as YouTube, but it was Sister Hot Pea. So she started reading excerpts from the book. And I think he was getting a little, bothered because he was taking extra long sips of this as he listened to chapters of this book. But, it seems like it might be nice as she gets it together. But anyway, they also start discussing that same meeting and same idea, that they need to put the egos aside.
Right.
Now, Taj and Tameka get together, and, one person from both groups, and they just start discussing the show because, they got to move on. And Taj says she's a Spice Girl fan, like huge Spice Girl fan. She still got stuff, and she feels like everybody should dress for their personality. Coco has lost weight and stuff, so she's into bodycon dresses. Tiny and Candy like booty shorts. Tameka dresses like a retired stripper.
Basically, they're dressing like they did in the 90s.
Pretty much. Now, did you watch the SWV show? I can't remember because part of that show, what's her name? Coco got a tummy tuck, and Lily got her butt done on that show. Yeah.
Now who got the tummy tuck?
Coco got the tummy tuck.
What happened?
Her stomach is flat. If you look at her actual stomach, her stomach is flat.
You have no judgment. Well, I mean, I can't judge either, but I'm just.
You know, I ain't judging. But yeah, if you look at her stomach, it's flat.
All that. I'll tummy and tuck all that if I had the doctors. Give me a clean bill of health, I'll tummy tuck all that.
But apparently, it doesn't stop you from losing weight.
Huh?
No, it doesn't
stop you from gaining or losing weight. The tummy tuck. Like
I work out.
Yeah.
That ain't my problem. But you know what ain't gonna happen? It's flat. It ain't never been flat.
Okay.
It ain't never been flat.
Yeah. So you can get some suggestions from pretty much probably half of Atlanta or 3/4. Yeah. So, but anyway, they're all discussing this, and Tameka, I actually like seeing Tameka step into her creative role. Now, it may be over the top, but
a horse, baby. She want a horse. I'm just like, what happens when this shit? Can somebody, that's exactly what I'm going
to. It's going to right on the stage.
I mean, these horses weigh like 1,000 pounds. What if that horse fall?
Yeah. I mean, so much stuff can happen. And now to get great ideas, you just brainstorm and throw out everything.
Exactly. Yeah, I'm with you.
Man, I was just like, horse girl. Okay. So they get to this meeting. And they have the full plate of anything you want to eat is laid out.
Stop lying.
No, they had a couple of pieces of ham
with the fat on it. I
mean, right. Okay, they didn't even try to make it look cute and no charcuterie or nothing. Though it was just like out.
And stop acting like you don't know how it go.
Oh, I know how it go, but I'm not.
I would have had some fried chicken. It's just like I ain't trying to be.
And finger sandwiches.
Okay. Okay.
Oh my gosh. And so they, all have the meeting, and Coco says one false move and the Bronx may come on out or whatever. So they all get to discussing, and before they get too deep, Coco wants to know, hold up, we co-headline or not, Candy? Because she was like, before we get to talking too much, let's get this straight.
Baby, I would have started patting my hair. When she started talking, my hair would start itching. I'd have been like, child, who she talking to?
Right.
It just been like,
wasn't talking before. But that was funny when she was like, Candy. And Tosha decides she said nothing all day. She ain't picked a song. She ain't did nothing. But
that moment right there.
Yeah. She was like, we're going to co-headline. We're going to co-headline. And apparently she hadn't talked to anybody, but they just was like, we just gonna roll with it. Which was, I mean, although she made the decision for the group, I felt like it was the best decision at the time. Ain't no need to, doing all this. And y'all only have a few weeks to go. Come on now.
Yeah.
Y'all be all right. So she starts talking about all of these ideas or whatever, and Tosha is looking crazy the entire time. And as they're showing these things like the SWV coming out and all the little lights and all that, to me, it looked really good. It looked professional. And apparently the guy, Steve, that was doing all of this used to work directly with Tosha back in the day. And they used to communicate and do all the creative stuff. And now that Tameka is working with him, she doesn't seem too happy about it. But did y'all notice that? She just, she just had like a boom in her mouth and
a little attitude.
Yeah, she ain't running it, so she like, what's the point?
Yes, I don't like people like that. That if they ain't running it, they don't want to be a part of it. To me, like at some point, you got to be able to
share,
balance,
delegate, and all that.
Delegate or appreciate somebody. To me, it's like it's your sister, and to me, it's different if she was. Yeah, if it was bad ideas, they're good ideas. She was getting,
especially if you're trying to do your own thing off on the side. You don't have time for all of that.
Right.
You don't.
Right. Those are dogs. Okay, carry on. I don't know if y'all can hear that. It's like super loud to me. But anyway, Lily did acknowledge that some of that stuff was extra, which you talked about, like the horses and all that kind of stuff. But they seem very organized. They got their to-do list together, who's doing what, and they seem like the show is going on. So Candy and Coco meet, and Tosha joins them. So they're working on a set list. And which songs are going in what order and all this kind of stuff. And so Candy, what she does is gets all of the songs that XSCAPE normally sings. And I think she had just a full list of what SWV normally sings to figure out how they should do it and where they should go, because it does help the flow of the show if you got things going in the right order. And so she asking Tosha, she was just like, now we normally don't do this. What's it, Run to the Arms or something? Is that on the CD that you like, Run to the Arms? I remember the song. Is that on the?
Yes,
what's the
that's
song
the one I love. That's one of the ones I like.
Oh, okay.
Love. And the fact that she doesn't like doing that one, I'm like, what do you mean?
Yeah.
It's not about you, wench. It's about the fans.
It's about this money.
Fans and the
it's
money.
about the fans. I'm gonna lose my mind if I'm at that, concert and you sing that song. It's for me, it ain't for you.
Okay.
At all.
Selfish.
Mm-hmm.
That's my jam. And so she was like, have you thought of any tributes or anything? No, just got an attitude. And so
this her face the entire time. I gotta pray about it.
Right, everything you gotta pray on. Like, he ain't answered, he ain't said nothing. And so, at this point, she was like, she hadn't put much thought into it at all or order, because she just got a lot going on. And so this is like, Coco, they can sense the tension. And so she just leaves or whatever. They just know they need to start and end with the smash. And they trying to figure out if weak or understanding should be
first.
First. Now, I don't think either one should be the first. I feel like you should.
I want that in the middle.
Yeah. Like, I feel like you should
get nachos or something.
Yeah, like pop out with something.
Because I'm gonna be hurt. I ain't in my seat. Like, come on.
Right. That's true. Because sometimes we get there late. Oh, you parking, it take a while. You might be a little late coming in. You don't want to miss the smashes. So, any case, I feel like they should start with like anything. Or actually, when I think about escapes, they don't have a lot of theirs is like love songs. They don't have a lot of like bops where you like dance and it's just like, oh, I remember this song, I love it. So yeah, SWV gonna have to kick it off for sure. I can't remember what they.
It seemed like I didn't understand when she tried to let them go first, while she was just like, oh, it should be an escape song. And it was just like, what difference it make?
Yeah. And to me,
I felt like you wanted.
Oh, I know what. Who's opening? That's what it's all about.
Yeah.
Oh, and to me, if you're opening for somebody, you're opening for somebody.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And to me, if it's their show, they're being creative. Y'all musicians, y'all can find out a way to merge these songs and make it a
mashup. Some of these artists from the different groups could be singing along with you all as you're singing. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's a way that you could do it.
So hopefully they work something out. But all of this, like who going first, it really is kind of, to me, because it's one show. Thank you. I'm petty. What's that little guy that used to have?
But it's not just Candy though.
Oh, no. No. They Tosha is pretty petty. I feel like SWV, they like, oh, we can't get petty if y'all want us to.
I think they have initiated their petty because they didn't want to headline initially.
Yeah.
I mean co-headline initially. And it's like, okay, you can play tit for tat, but that ain't gonna get you the green.
At all.
Oh,
did y'all see them numbers going up?
Huh?
Y'all saw them numbers going up and some of the ideas kept coming in. They were just like 3,500. Like, okay, now we can't afford all this. But I was like, okay, they had to sell a lot of tickets. Now, Dom Juan made an appearance in this episode. Him and Candy met up to Kiki because it didn't sound like a business meeting.
It can't be a Candy show without Don Juan.
Right.
He's gonna get his coins. He's gonna coins. He's gonna speak to Candy. That's what it is.
Real friends show up just to say this stuff for you, just to take the heat because you've been keeping me employed. You keeping me rich.
Okay.
What you want me to do? You want me to say it for you, friend? No problem.
Gotcha.
They just mad because ... We already know everything come out. That's a
And
real
so
thing.
I think I saw on Twitter, they said Don Juan and his neck. Y'all heard them dogs? Y'all heard them?
Yeah, we hear him.
Oh, okay. I didn't know.
Hey, and Harmon.
Hey, and
Yes. Hey. It was like Don Juan and his neck had to make an appearance. I had to look and they showed clips. I forget he don't roll his neck, but it's like a way he talked where it's like his neck is going. But I never noticed it until they said it. And I was like, he sure do. We rolling that
I
neck.
gotta
But
go
anyway,
back and watch it now.
yeah. So she gives him an update and she's like, you know, Tosha hadn't been collaborative, cooperative, none of the cut words. She just hasn't been. And he was like, what is it? Why do you think? And she was like, well, supposedly she has a new gospel deal. And, you know, whenever she thinks she about to blow up, she treat us bad. And so she said, basically, they're using this as a spotlight for her solo endeavors. And so she just kind of keep them in limbo and doesn't really fully let go because it's like a safety net or whatever. And so
That's not fair.
I know. So they talked about how in the 90s, I don't remember this coming up in any of the other shows, but when she had that solo deal, she told Candy to go and do her little solo thing and that Tiny and her sister can go and have more babies. I was like, what?
I don't know how she got away with that comment with a whole head of hair after that.
Well, you know, there was a fight, a physical altercation. Yes.
It was?
Yeah.
Do tell. I don't remember this.
Yes, it was a
I didn't see Unsung.
Oh, okay. Unsung. They were in a boardroom discussing, I think I had to do something with the third album, and they got into yelling, and Candy and Tosha got in a physical fight. They got in a physical fight. Yeah.
Ooh, I wish I
videos. Y'all, if y'all got TV One, I think it's probably still online. You can go watch that Unsung. I might have to rewatch it and see what
did Tameka jump in?
I don't know if Tameka jumped. They didn't say anything about Tameka jumping in. They
Tiny should have pulled her hair.
So yeah. So they have actually found. I don't know if that was the time, but sounds like it was always
because they ain't even gonna fake it.
But of course, Don Juan had to like chime in. He was like, "Well, you know, she ain't gonna let go because she know the money she get with you is better than the money she get by herself," which is true. You know, it's just true. And
well, he said with you and Tiny.
Yeah, that's true. Mm-hmm. It's better than what she get by herself.
Let's not forget. Miss Paper Trail gets hers. Yeah.
Okay, all the time. And he said, I've heard this before. Don't make someone a priority. That makes you an option. Have y'all heard that before?
I have. Hell no.
That was never so. So anyway, he said she has escaped. No, I think Candy say she escaped from Escape. But yeah, so it was just interesting. Yeah. Them bringing up the old stuff and how her new gospel deal. Now, we could probably get into this a little later, but did y'all see any of the drama as far as like Tosha did a live? And I think today Tameka did a live. Not a live. It was they were recording. They weren't lives, but they were recordings like talking about each other's stuff. But anyway, we could talk about that later. But one thing she brought up was that the gospel deal was actually for both of them. It was supposed to be Tosha and Tameka's gospel deal. Yes. And she was removed from it. Yeah. So
who was Tameka was removed?
Tameka was, yeah.
I bet she was.
So now it's a solo deal. It's not a gospel deal for them both. But yeah, so that was interesting.
They changed that after she aired her out about that $30-something thousand.
Mm-hmm. So they're just like, we know this making the show, so let's make this a solo deal. Yeah. Woo. I know. So yeah, so Jalen, Coco, and Taj, they go shopping and they just try to convince him to not be a dentist anymore. I mean, to go back to school and pursue dentistry. And he kind of reiterates that he wasn't happy in school. I think she gave him some good advice, but I'm like, brother, I sent y'all that video of him singing and sounding better. And I think I saw another one of him sounding better. He did sound better, as the person said last week, but it still wasn't like, I'm going out to buy your album good. It was just like, okay, so he can sing. It's not that he can't sing. He has a nice voice. It actually sounded better. You know, he might could even do lead in the church choir, not just sing in the background. What? For solo, I don't know.
I'm not a church choir.
You might need some harmony in the background.
Right. Something to give them a little something.
You need your mom and them in the background.
Okay.
Okay,
throwing some doo-wops for them or something to make them feel better. Yes. But Taj, okay, I didn't know this about Taj, but she was talking about how the music business is fickle and explained to him all of that. But she said she worked for $9 an hour, like a coffee company, answering the phones after Escape. Yep. And last week, Lily talked about basically sleeping in her car. So I'm just like, dang, them 90s, what did they call them? 360 deals or something? It was a mess. Where, they were just left out.
So my question is, did they write any of their music?
Couldn't have.
I don't think so, because there was a guy on their show. I think his name was Brandon or something. I think for some reason the name Brandon is coming to me. And they were just like, he's behind all of our hits. And he, that initial SWV, well, actually, they still had the same sound, but those songs were his songs. So they must not have written anything. They just sang. So
nobody was in their ear at all. Nobody was in their ear.
I tell you who was in Candy ear.
But you know what? That kind of makes sense. They probably so SWV did everything that they did, and then they did say that Destiny's Child was kind of like they mentored Destiny's Child before they became Destiny's Child. Mm-hmm. Seeing what SWV went through, it made sense then that that Destiny's Child, especially Beyonce, started writing. Like, we can't go through what they're going through. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's true. And they did, I think it was their show. It was something when they came out with, I think it was either Cosign or is another song that SWV came out with later. They wrote those because they was like, we're gonna start writing because that's where the money is.
Probably late. It was probably too late.
I know it was too late. But let's get to this Escape rehearsal. So they have a spot date in Orlando and they're rehearsing. They got the band there and they're practicing their parts. Some parts sound really ready to go and some can use a little more work, but it's practice. And Tosha is missing from rehearsal, not responding to anybody. They continue to rehearse. And then the road manager was like, she's not coming to rehearsal and maybe not even sound check. Now that is, I'm just like, okay, well, actually both of them is I don't know, to me it's just so disrespectful because even if you're like SWV, they might not get along, but they know when it's time for business, we get on that stage, we're gonna do it and then do whatever afterwards. Come on now, can you come to rehearsal, sound check? And to me, that shows an ego when you feel like you can just step on the stage and do it.
Not even the courtesy of responding to people contacting you. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the lowest of the low.
Yeah.
It's the absolute lowest of the low.
Yeah. And this is business.
100%.
This ain't a hobby chick.
Right.
We at work when we step on stage. You're tripping.
Yeah.
You disrespect.
We losing you.
Oh, was that okay? I thought it was me. I was like, oh.
Okay.
But yeah, so very, very disrespectful. And yeah, it just shows. And I don't know, to me, it doesn't matter how much you don't like them, at least show up, or at least, like you say, respond, say something. I ain't coming, you bees, whatever, I just ain't gonna do it. So,
you peas.
Right, but Candy had a lot to say. She made
you pips, you pips. Y'all sing for me, pips.
Right, y'all my background. Get yourself together. I come in the day of.
David Ruffin.
Oh my gosh! So they had these scenes intermingle, but they also had Tosha and her husband. All of their scenes seem very. I mean, of course, most scenes are kind of set up a little bit, but theirs seem extremely fake. Like he has these champagne glasses down there with one sheet of paper. Are the contracts one sheet of paper? But that's another thing. And she was like, "What are we celebrating, huh?"
You know they're not. They're packets.
Right. Something.
Let's grow up. Let's grow up. Let's show a little bit of reality in the reality.
Oh my gosh. And so, he was like, we're ready to sign this contract. And she was talking about how it's a dream for her. she wants to get back to her roots and sing with a message, and she wants to be free and own her masters. And that is a great thing to own your masters. But if ain't nobody checking for them, then it don't really matter. But
my question is, are you going to walk out of tens of thousands of dollars from a concert?
Millions.
And you, well, I mean, you know, how many people? It's 7 ways, right? It's cut. It's going to be cut 7 ways, right? So it's thousands. So, but my point is that that's a great springboard. That's a great springboard for more money and for your album. You know what I'm saying? How many people listen to gospel and R&B? It's a lot of people.
Yeah.
Not even just that. The platform you're on, when they see how you're acting like a diva, it can impact your sales in that arena, because no one wants to even listen to somebody like that's not godly.
They don't believe you.
Yeah.
And you want to talk about your story. What is your story?
Nothing.
What is your story?
Being a hot mess and messy and petty
and fighting.
Stealing money
over money.
Stealing money. And you know what?
What do you
know what?
She look. You know what I wonder? I wonder whether or not she even knows that the husband stole the money. Because so I believe that the husband stole the money.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I believe. My question is, does she know where the money is?
Well, let's get into it. So Candy did the speak on it or whatever. So she did the speak on it, and she addressed things with Tosha in the speak on it. So Tosha she was like, so everybody want to speak on it, I'm gonna speak on it. And so she brought out some points with that she had just done the Queens. It's some show with Atlanta. It looks like a Zoom. I can't think of the name, but anyway, it's got Claudia, whatever, and
yourself. I love it.
It's got all of them on there. And on there, she was just like, I don't know why my sister is talking about me stealing this money, and I don't know what she said. I think she just using this as part of her storyline, because me and my sister we talk all the time, and she brought this up in over 10 years. So she talked about that. She talked about what did she say about Candy? Oh, now this was hilarious. So if y'all get a chance, she was just like, okay, Candy. Oh, when Candy was knocking down, like, I sung the lead. She said, I never said you didn't sing lead. I said you didn't like me sing a lead. But go ahead, sing lead. And they played that clip from Real Housewives of Atlanta when they had that singing competition and Candy sounded a hot mess. She was like, okay. And started laughing. And that part was funny. I get that to her because Candy sounded a hot mess. She was like, go ahead, sing lead. And they played that whole clip of her sounding a hot mess. So anyway, let's get into Tameka. Tameka was like, this is the final time I'm going to address this. I'm bringing out receipts. So don't ask me to interview. Don't ask me to come on a show. Don't ask me to do nothing. I'm laying it all out here. So she talks about how she actually brings Tiny's mom on there. Tiny's mom is like, well, I signed up, y'all, because remember Tiny's dad used to be a part of a singing group. And so she found out that they could get money from streams or something, whatever it was. So she signed him up and was like, oh, let me sign Escape up. So she told all the girls, she signed them up, and Tiny started getting her checks. And Tameka was like, well, I ain't got my checks yet. And she was like, well, you should have, because Tiny didn't got, and it's not, she said it's not like a bulk $30,000. It'll be like 20,000 here, 10,000 here, 5,000 here. They're still getting checks, apparently. And so she said when they did the research, that it looked like they had rerouted the money to Tameka them. And when they investigated it, they found that was it. They had used her passport, used her, somebody signed her name, Tameka. Tosha signed Tameka name as the manager. And and so the money started going to them. And she showed actual paperwork where it was Tameka's form and Tasha's form, same handwriting, and she showed the signature. She said, that is not my signature. And it showed the husband, his name is Edwin something, had signed under it. They showed a back of a check that he had endorsed. And she showed a text from the husband that basically was like, you better apologize to us, or we're gonna, apparently, I guess she did a sex tape in her 20s, and she gave it to her sister to hold, and her sister had supposed to put it in a safe, and her sister lost it, and now all of a sudden they're gonna release it. And she showed the whole text where he was just like, you want to, not apologize to us and clear our name. We're going to release the sex tape. She was like, you can release it. I'm not lying. Here's the receipts or whatever. And so it sounded like, to answer your question, Tameka knew about this money. Yeah. Yes. And so that was all over Twitter today. So it's about 18 minutes. I watched double time. I had to pause because I wanted to read that entire text.
I hear you. I would have read the whole thread, beginning to end.
Yes. So at least from what we seeing, it looks like they lying. And unless she doctored up his
not lying. Tameka wouldn't have brought that up if she was lying because she'd have been caught.
Yes.
That's too heavy. And to put on a sibling.
I knew she was telling the truth. Look, let me tell you something. I knew Tameka was telling the truth because Tosha didn't say a word to defend herself. She's like,
and her mama put the cameras out.
Yeah. And she said something like, she did say something like, you don't have no money to steal. Remember she said that? So that was her only defense. You ain't got no money to steal. So
it's sounding more like Tosha is envious of Tameka.
It sounded a lot like Tasha's just a bad egg.
You know what I think from what I've seen, because Tosha, in her defense thing, one of the things she said was, I always defend my sister, and y'all know my sister lie. And so she showed the video of Tameka apologizing to Kandi because she had lied on her, saying she slept with Jermaine Dupri's daddy. And so she apologized to Kandi in a video, it looks like a Watch What Happens Live. It was a show, and she apologized on stage, kind of crying. And so she was like, "Where our apology?" So that's also where the text, where her husband was like, "We need our apology too," because she was like, "Y'all know she lied." And so Tameka was like, "I basically was mad about something my sister said, so I got on and told basically everything that she told me." So I was defending my sister or whatever. And so Tosha also says, I always defend my sister. And they go back to a clip, and this was true when she was pregnant in XSCAPE. This was the early 90s now. And they wanted her to either have abortion or leave the group. And Tosha was like, if she leave the group, I'm leaving the group. So they let her stay. And
Who is they? Are we talking about?
I guess the powers that be.
Okay.
Told Tameka, because she was pregnant in one of them videos. If y'all, I'm gonna try to.
I remember.
But in any case, I'm saying all of this to say that I feel like she's not at the core an evil person. I feel like her husband has influenced her over all of these years to hate people, to not like people, to feel like people are jealous of her, to feel like people are doing stuff behind her back. And if you hear that day after day after day, it becomes a part of you. So that's what I think happened to Tosha.
I don't like giving so much power to other people.
She's acting on it. And at what point are you an individual?
You're a grown-ass woman.
Yeah.
This man hasn't helped you.
Well, apparently he has helped her.
Use the things you do when you're with him.
Yeah.
No.
So it is interesting to hear all of their versions. And apparently her album is called Conversations with God. This was the funniest thing Kandi said. She was like, your conversations with God must be all about me.
But wait. So that moment when the group XSCAPE had to sing Tasha's parts.
Sound amazing.
Sounded well. Like, make that money without that. Yeah. Money split three ways is better than four.
Show is.
That's all I'm saying.
You have been stopped dealing with Tosha. All right, Tosha, I'm gonna holler at you.
Yeah.
I'm gonna holler at you, big dog.
And I think growing up, this is what I think. I think growing up, everybody must have told Tameka she can't sing as good as her sister. And so I think that's embedded in her because she was like, I'm gonna try. I'm like, girl, you can do it. Like, you did it. So I think that's what, So I think she still got that. Like, she's not quite
and was holding them notes. She was holding them.
Yes. So
was it?
Yeah. Oh, and on that show too, what's her name said, it ain't even about the $30,000. I can get that to her. And her sister was like, if you can, well, give it to me. I'll
give it to her.
Okay. I'm waiting.
Give it to her then, because it's not yours. That's a lot of money.
Got that money from that bonus check. That's what it is.
Yeah.
That ain't $200-$300. That ain't $200-$300.
Or $2,000-$3,000.
Give her her money back. Give her her money back. As soon as you found out you were cashing, no, before you cashed the check, you should have had it routed back to her. You're tripping.
Yeah.
You're
Even
tripping.
if you felt, I don't know if she felt like, oh, well, we deserve it for, because she did say that her husband managed them in the 90s. And it was Candy's idea that he managed them in the 90s and they didn't pay him. She said Tiny was the only one that gave him a little bit of something. And maybe she felt like, well, they ain't paying him in the 90s since, I don't know. I'm making this part.
Yeah, but communicate that. Communicate that. Don't assume that somebody's just going to be okay.
Why it all got to come out of her check? Why it all got to come out of Tameka's check? No.
Right. Come on now.
He needs
another reason I really truly believe Tameka is because Tiny's mom in her video, she was like, and why couldn't I get my money? And then she said, well, when we all looked into it, they said the only way you can get your money is to prosecute your sister. And she was like, and I didn't want to prosecute her. And then Tiny's mom said something to like, I love Tosha. I love all of y'all. Y'all all my girls. So it's like, she felt like, I love all of y'all or whatever. She just was telling the truth. Or whatever.
Truth.
You know.
The truth is the truth. If you learn about something that major.
Yeah. So it is very interesting. So much drama, like on and off stage. And SWV has been doing lives this week because they didn't appreciate some of the stuff that was said in the diaries. And so they have been on lives talking like,
okay, I was about to say. It goes back and forth. Just let it die. Let it die. It's ratings, boo. Or maybe that's what they're thinking.
That's
what we get to watch.
Ratings, season 2 could be. Ooh, I don't know if Tosha and them family gonna survive season 2. Oh, Tosha also said, I'm gonna say this, I'm saying everything, but she said she was the last one to sign the contract and she didn't even want to do the show. And you know, they were begging her to do the show. She was the last one to sign the contract. And this is why, because I didn't want to have to deal with all this. And I'm like, well, act like you wanted to me, like you on camera. So at least don't give them nothing to edit. Don't give them nothing to do. Oh, and she also said, like, it was so much, but she said that in the when they met at Tiny's house to discuss stuff, and she looked like she was mad the whole time. Apparently, that was like, I guess, not too long after her sister accused her of stealing the money. And she said she talked a lot and was like, these are my issues. And her and Candy kind of got into it, and Candy started crying. You know, Candy cried. And she said they cut the cameras. So, you know, Candy made them cut the camera so she wouldn't be on camera crying. And Candy was like, I'm always on camera crying. Why would I care about them seeing me? I don't control what they edit and what they take out. So it's interesting. I'll send y'all all 3. So
yes,
speak on it is a little long.
Please. And look, when you do, I'm gonna put it in. I'm gonna put it into the comments so people who watch us can see that as well. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, yes. 3 sides to the story. It was a lot. I was like, oh my gosh, I'm going down this rabbit hole, but it was good.
Rabbit hole.
Yeah, Candy said like they basically didn't air some of the stuff because she said her and Tosha also got into it at the studio when she didn't, because Candy left. I mean, not Candy. Coco left, and they all started, arguing about stuff. And she said that they couldn't air that because they brought up stuff that wasn't brought up in the show. So they can't show stuff that you haven't discussed anywhere, or they're not going to bring up in the show. So I was like, "Ooh," she was like, "If we ever do a movie, I'm right there. I'm there for all of it. All of it.
Drama, and I love it. Give me
every
more.
bit of it. Only 2 episodes left, and Candy claim it's more. That we're gonna find out more of how shady
autobiography movie is gonna be good.
About how shady what?
Oh, Rocky is.
Oh, good. I'm all here. I'm here for it.
Yes,
so because Rocky, I think he's the devil.
Oh, the husband. It just don't sit right in my spirit. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So exciting. Yeah. So we'll see. Tasha's CD releases on Good Friday, so we'll see how it does. We'll see how it does.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. She would have done so much better without doing the show or acting right on the show or something. And maybe they'll close it out in a nice, pretty bow, and it'll be good.
They bet not. They bet not. It better end on mess, so they can get a season 2.
Right. Somebody's like, we need a reunion. We need a reunion show.
I'm gonna need a season 2.
Oh, now y'all watch anything else? Y'all watch what's the crazy show? Love is Blind on Netflix, or the love show with shoot Tamar and those people.
Oh, okay,
I
thank you
haven't
for
seen
reminding me
it.
because I forgot. I've seen several. I haven't
Okay,
seen all of them, but I've seen several.
I'm in the middle too. But you just love Nivea, like you just end up loving
That's
her.
the one that I really like. It's something
Yeah.
about her spirit, her aura. It's
Mhm.
just perfect.
Yeah,
Just
she was on
pleasant.
the show. Did y'all see that show she was on where they were trying to get 90s R&B ladies together to make a group? And they had like 702 people. They had Black, I think, and then it was some group I didn't even know. But in any case, Nivea was on there. I said Nivea was on there. And that's when I really learned to really like her personality because she's just fun. So, but yeah, until next week where we talk that stuff, episode 5. Woo! I can't wait.
I can't wait.
Thank you all so very much for joining us. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share. Y'all have a great one.